What's up, you guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of Real Debates. I'm your host slash moderator, Alex Hampton of Momentum Media, and today we have an amazing match for you guys. Thank you guys for watching last week's match. Last week's match was probably the most comical match I've ever moderated in my whole entire life. Given the fact that it's Jim Carrey and Jeremy Ian are basically comedians to me, it was hilarious. So many moments in that match where I was just laughing. But I have a brand new match for you guys. Today we have Lovecraft Country versus The Boys. And repping Lovecraft Country is no other than Reggie from the Silver Site, also known in Bad Boys 2, that Reggie as well.
Who the fuck are you?
I'm Mr. Bennett. I'm Reggie.
How are you doing today, Reggie?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to destroying my competition.
Oh, okay. See, we hadn't even started yet, and he's taking shots. And we got our returning winner, Jeremy from Movies Are Terrible. How are you doing today, Jeremy?
Well, Alex, I see what you did, man. I see what you did. I was so wondering why things happened the way that they did, and then I took a step back from it. I'm like, hold up. Reggie's got a recap show on his channel dedicated solely to The Boys, and wouldn't you know it, I've got a recap series dedicated 100% to Lovecraft Country, so we're devil's advocating it, and I love it, man. I think that's a hilarious and awesome premise.
Yes. I was like, yo, I got to get these guys on the show because they both have interesting perspectives, and I would love to see which one's the better show. Now, I'm going to give you guys each individual rounds of how this show has started. If this is your very first time ever watching. Now, each contestant has 4 rounds. Each round is 2 minutes apart. In the first round, they have their introduction statements. Second round, they're going to tell me why their TV show is better. Third round's battle round. They're going to go at each other. Fourth round, final round, is the conclusions. Like I stated before, each contestant has 2 minutes per round. Now, before we get started, guys, pick a number between 1 and 10. So I'm going to go with Jeremy, our winner, first. Pick a number between 1 and 10.
7.
Okay. Reggie, pick a number between 1 and 10.
4.
Oh, wow. The number was 5.
Nice.
Well, Reggie, would you like to go first or second?
I'll go second. Save the best for last.
Okay.
Like the strategy.
All right. Now, Reggie chose to go second. Jeremy, our last week's winner, will be going first. And Jeremy has 2 minutes to tell us why he believes. He has 2 minutes to give us an introduction of his TV show, The Boys. And Jeremy, your 2 minutes starts now.
So, obviously, I'm a big fan of Lovecraft Country. I'm not saying anything disparaging about the show. 2 things, though. It's which one's better, and I came to win. So, with that said, let's talk about a show that people actually watch. Let's talk about The Boys. We're 2 seasons in to Amazon series. As a matter of fact, this show was more popular in its premiere than both Stranger Things Season 3 and The Mandalorian, as well as all of the Marvel Netflix series. This is a fantastic show because it takes a genre that we all love, that we all celebrate, and it deconstructs it, and it kind of shines a black mirror back into the things that we like about it and puts it in a real world setting. It gives us a lot of really good satire that explores tons of socially relevant themes that we'll come back to here in a little bit, but it explores the way that superpowers are going to negatively affect some while having positive effects on others. It's got a better ensemble cast. There are so many great characters in this show. It's got better villains. It uses satire to make its points, and it does so in a way that's concise, subversive, and hilarious while still being able to be dark and emotionally gripping. I feel like it runs the spectrum on the emotions, and I really just think it's accessible while still being batshit crazy. So, The Boys.
Awesome. Oh my God, that was
Wow.
a
Came with some
powerful.
heat.
You have 30 seconds to spare, man.
Don't need it.
Wow. Okay. All right. Now, I have to say before I pass it down to Reggie, that was a very powerful round. Reggie, you now have the same 2 minutes to give your introduction of Lovecraft Country. Your 2 minutes starts now.
Monsters, magic, and racism. Lovecraft Country is a multi-genre, multi-layered television masterpiece that encompasses sci-fi, horror, drama, suspense, and is all wrapped up in a beautiful yet frightening and refreshing layer of both American and African American history and culture. It's a show that follows a black family in 1950s Jim Crow America. We see our cast and characters constantly struggle with not only trying to survive, but overcome and conquer generational hurt and generational curses, all while dealing with the horrors or the horrible racism of 1950s racist America. And as a bonus, we get terrifying monsters. Lovecraft is possibly one of the most well-written literary to television adaptations in the most recent memory, which is something that we don't see a lot of these days. Lovecraft's mastery and the lost art of storytelling is unparalleled. Lovecraft is a show that not only is entertaining, but is educational and it's important in the climate that we're living in today. It's a show that makes everything intentional, from the cinematography to the score to set design, the costume. Everything they do serves a purpose. This show was literally crafted to near perfection, and is definitely the type of show that will be remembered for substance and not simplistic shock value and quirky one-liners, unlike a certain show that rhymes with the toys. I yield my time.
Oh,
Yo, that
40
was
seconds to
beautiful.
spare.
Holy crap, dude. Coming with the heat.
Oh my goodness. Did you guys? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, man, that was a powerful first round.
That was
and this is his first
Hey.
time on the show. He's talking like he's been on the show before. Okay. Well, I didn't state this before, but Reggie will be definitely saved towards the end of the match, but I ain't gonna lie to you. That was some heat.
I was just telling the truth.
Okay. Now let's go ahead and jump.
Man.
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into our second round. And our second round is they're going to tell us why their show is better. Why is it good? Last round we started with Jeremy. This time we're going to start with Reggie. Now, Reggie, you have 2 minutes to tell us why your show is good. You don't have to take any jabs, but if you choose to, you can. And your 2 minutes starts now.
Well, I'm about to jab. I can and I will. What makes Lovecraft Country a good show? Lovecraft Country is one of those shows that can be brought up and talked about in any kind of crowd, and it creates meaningful and exciting and honest conversation. It's a show that's so eclectic that there's something there for everyone. The storytelling is borderline masterclass. The care that goes into the character development and growth rivals that of Avatar: The Last Airbender, which we know is the godsend of all television writing.
No, we don't know
the
that.
anthology-like way the series functions and ties every episode together in a way that makes everything feel connected and organic. It speaks volumes to Lovecraft's abilities, Lovecraft Country's world-building abilities. The way each episode functions as both a standalone and a episode that contributes to the overall story arc is incomparable. Lovecraft is one of those one-of-a-kind shows that will definitely stand the test of time, and I feel that it's something that you just simply can't say about other shows. How many times have we got invested in a television show, in a series, and we watch it decades later and it doesn't stand the test of time? Season 1 is so good that even if they decide to only do one season, it's okay because it's such a high quality show. When you try to compare Lovecraft Country to The Boys, it's like comparing caviar to fish sticks. It's one of those things where it's about quality versus quantity. Would you rather have a bunch of average episodes, or would you rather be blown away for every single episode one season? Let's just be honest here. I get the fact that I understand what The Boys is trying to do. I get it. They're appealing to a lower humor base. I understand that, and I respect it, because you got to get your views how you get your views. But when you look at the intellect that is developed within Lovecraft Country, it's incomparable to The Boys. It's like literally comparing a PlayStation 5 to a PlayStation 1.
No, come on. No.
I yield the rest of my time.
Wow, you had 2 seconds to go. Man, wow, this is the most exhilarating match I've done in a minute. Wow, Jeremy, whoo! It's now your turn, my friend, my good friend, who's a really great debater, to tell us why The Boys is a good show. Like I stated before, you don't have to take shots if you don't want to, but if you do, no one's stopping you. Your 2 minutes, sir, starts now.
That was wonderfully fought. I think a lot of what you said adds up. Some of it, not so much. And we'll circle back around to that here in the next round. However, I think about the boys that makes it so accessible and so universal when we talk about themes and being able to sit down with anybody and watch it and them have enjoyment out of it is it's got an impressive ensemble cast. We've got more perspectives because of the fact that we've got female characters, African-American characters, people that are poor and on the wrong side of the law versus people that are at the very top of these corporations like VOD. It's able to take aim and use satire. I don't think it's just bottom of the barrel humor. I think there's some really smart writing going on that uses each of these different characters as an into all sorts of different topical themes. I feel like, you've got Tick, you've got Letty, you've got Montrose in Lovecraft Country. It's a very specific experience. And, I'm not taking away from it. I think there's a huge conversation to be had about how important the show is. But if you're not a person that has dealt with racism, this isn't a show that necessarily speaks directly to you. I feel like what The Boys does is it uses very broad, and as you said, I feel like accessible is the word for it. It uses accessible humor as a way to deal with really important stuff and tackle things that are going on. This ensemble is incredible. We've got Huey, Frenchie, Kamiko, Mother's Milk. I mean, all the way down the list. Butcher is a fantastic character. Yeah. They're all anti-heroes. They're all morally ambiguous. It's not like you've got good guys and bad guys because half of the 7 are terrible pieces of shit. And I love the way that just right on in season 1, they start dealing with the Me Too movement just directly. And then at the same time, they're able to turn the tables and make you sympathize with this piece of shit. I think the thing about The Boys is that we've seen a proven track record.
That's your 2 minutes. And I have to say, wow, that was an amazing second round from both contestants. Jeremy, you brought up a lot of good points that the boys addressed in season 2. Especially they basically did come out the gate and say, listen, yeah, we're superheroes, but we're assholes. Yep. That's essentially what you were saying. And Reggie, what you did with Lovecraft, the way you addressed the meaning behind it was so great, so eloquently put together. Man, I've been typing some notes here. Oh, I can't wait to get into deliberations. Let's go to our third round. And our third round is my favorite round. It is the battle round. Now, in this round, they have the freedom to go after each other for only 2 minutes. They can draw contradictions. They can say why one is better than the other. They can say if it doesn't make any sense. Hell, if I know, Frank may show up. And if you've seen last week's episode, you know who Frank is. So this round, we started with Jeremy. Last round, we started with Jeremy. Now we're going, we started with Reggie. Now we're going to start with Jeremy. Jeremy's going to be leading this round. Jeremy, your 2 minutes for this round starts now.
The ugliness of capitalism, current politics, the culture war, corporate culture, race, diversity, gender politics, sexism, familial bonds, sexual assault, performance-enhancing drugs, and injuries on athletes. These are just a few of the things that The Boys touches on.
Lift the plane? How? There's nothing to stand on. It's fucking air.
Again, with Lovecraft Country, we're talking about racism, and it's good that it does it. There needs to be something for everyone, and not everything needs to be for everyone, but if something can be, I think there's merit to that. I think there's value to it, so it's not something to take away just because it's popular. With Lovecraft Country, it's got strong central characters. Those 3 core characters that I mentioned, I love them. I love being on this journey with them. What I hate is taking these damn detours off with characters that I don't care as much about and dedicating entire episodes to them. I mean, I understand we needed to do a little bit of legwork for Hippolyta. I understand that we needed to do a little bit of legwork with Gia over in South Korea, but I just feel like those side detours do not help the narrative thrust. They do not push the story forward. They kill tension, and it takes you out of the narrative that needs to be driving ahead. And they could totally flub the finale. That's the thing, is we haven't seen what they're going to do at the end. but we've already seen the boys crush it twice. They've had 2 perfect season finales, and I think that there's something to be said about that. Dude, let's talk about villains. I've got Homelander and Stormfront, and you've got Christina?
Golly gee shucks. What makes you think I would give 2 fucks about that?
Is that the bad guy that we're going with?
Oh!
Come on, now, I know white girls are scary, but they're not as scary as a freaking uber Nazi Stormfront. That chick is evil. It was so great watching her get her ass kicked by all of the female superheroes. It felt enjoyable. It kind of talked about pandering and how you can make these situations happen in a meta way that is actually still, like, you know, pivotal to the storytelling. I really like that. I just feel like The Boys, every episode is a banger. Every episode serves to drive us to a destination, where with Lovecraft Country.
Whoa. That's your 2 minutes. That's your 2 minutes. Man, okay, thank you, iPhone. Okay, wow. Wow. Reggie, if you watch the show, I'm going to tell you, my friend, he hit you with some things, man. Some things I find questionable about Lovecraft Country, you know, and I'm not going to lie, when that villain's point was spot on. I mean, Homelander versus Christina. I mean, so, you know, this is now your chance to respond to everything he just said. You have 2 minutes, and your 2 minutes starts now.
Christine is not the villain. American history is the villain of Lovecraft Country, for one.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Ensemble cast, really. You had Maeve the Deep and A-Train that did absolutely nothing for an entire season. So if you want to talk about ensemble cast, I think everybody has to be used equally as far as screen time in order to be considered an ensemble cast. So I just want to correct you on that one. Lovecraft Country is superior to The Boys in every single way. Don't get me wrong. If you want to turn your brain off and have a good time, it's a great show. If you enjoy surface level one-liners with serious storylines with great value Marvel comedic undertones, then I say go for it. Enjoy The Boys. If you're the type of person to eat a well-done steak with ketchup, hey, go for The Boys. If you want an experience, you need to watch Lovecraft Country. Comparing the Lovecraft Country to Boys is like comparing Nas to Nick Cannon. If you want surface level one-liners with some shock and gore, then yeah. And if you're a simple caveman and you can understand it, yeah, go for The Boys. If you want a show that doesn't focus heavily on title characters, then go for The Boys. Because the show, last I checked, was called The Boys and not VOD or Nazi Camp. So I don't know what to tell you on that one. If you want a show that is going to change your life, something where the world and the characters are fleshed out so much so that it feels real, and you go to bed thinking about this show in your day-to-day life, you want to watch Lovecraft Country.
Rebuilt it. They had to paint the walls white to cover up the burn marks.
If you don't want anything with substance, you want a good laugh, you want some, you know, gore, you want some shock value. If you don't want real substance, then you need to be watching The Boys. I don't know what else to tell you. I understand that maybe it may be a little bit too much for some people to grasp, and maybe a little bit too complex, if you will, for people who love The Boys. But for me and where I stand, Lovecraft Country is the superior show all around, from the writing, from the performances of the actors and everybody involved.
It would have been my sworn duty to hang every single one of you from them trees. It's not sundown yet.
From the production, everything is superior when it comes to Lovecraft Country versus The Boys. Thank you. I yield my time.
That's your time. That's your time.
Yeah.
That's your time. Wow. Damn. The Nick Cannon Nas reference. That is definitely going to be a soundbite. Oh, wow. Okay, so that was an amazing third round. Before we jump into the final round, audience out there, if you're watching, please like, comment, subscribe to all of our channels. Go to Silver Site. Go check out his content as well. Go check out Movies Are Terrible. They're doing some really cool things at Movies Are Terrible. So definitely go check out our content. Want to plug our channels before we get into the last and final round. I have to say, before we get into the round, I'm so undecided right now. I can't. There's so much stuff that Siri has written down for me right now that I'm just like, what the hell? But now we're getting into our fourth round. Now, our fourth round is the final round, the conclusion round. Now, both contestants, this is their final statements. They can say whatever they want. They can wrap it up and explain to me why their show is better. They can continue attacking. They can do whatever the hell they want. But keep in mind, contestants, this debate is about proving why your show is the better show. So keep that in mind when you're wrapping this up. Now, last time we started with Jeremy. Now we're going to start with Reggie. Reggie, your 2 minutes for your conclusion for Lovecraft Country starts now.
I feel like everything I've said from the beginning of this debate is enough for me to have already won. I felt that the points that were made by my opponent, although they had some validity to them, they didn't hold much weight. Lovecraft Country covers multiple genres in a single season, and they did it to near perfection, whereas most shows can't even cover a single genre correctly. Lovecraft Country is multifaceted. It is layered. It is something that is educational. It is something that is a conversation starter and something that will stand the test of time. 20 years from now, when you go back and watch The Boys, it's going to be very dated. It's going to be very trendy. It's going to be very 2019 to 2020. When you go back and watch Lovecraft Country, this is something that'll probably be taught in screenwriting classes. This is something that'll be taught in film school. This is a show that is literally once in a lifetime. And I honestly cannot say that about The Boys. It is a great show. I will give it to it. But Lovecraft Country, just like Watchmen and Avatar: The Last Airbender, these are shows that I consider to be once in a lifetime. And without taking anything away from the performances of the actors in The Boys, I really feel like the cast of Lovecraft Country knocks it out of the park every time with the material that they're given. I don't feel like the Boys' storylines are really driving these amazing acting performances out of these, characters. I feel like Lovecraft Country is superior in every single way simply because we get better everything across the board. And like I said, to drive my point home, not taking anything away from The Boys, I feel like they do a great job, but I feel like great compared to perfection is still just great at the end of the day. I've said everything I could possibly say about why it's better. If you don't understand it, then maybe you should be watching The Boys.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Not a fan.
Nice finisher there. 7 seconds to go. Jeremy now has 2 minutes to wrap up his show as well. So Jeremy, the same rules apply. Your 2 minutes starts now.
So I guess it really comes down to, what do you watch TV series for? Is it to be educated or is it to be entertained? And I suppose that varies from person to person. I do feel like Lovecraft Country is a very intelligent show that was, touches on very important themes and in a very narrow scope, where The Boys, again, touches on many different aspects of society today. Are you right that there's pop culture jokes in The Boys? Yeah. Are you right that 10 years from now that all of these issues that are being dealt with in The Boys are going to be resolved? That's debatable, right? So what I really like about The Boys is that it is simple in its storytelling. It's not trying to cover 5 different genres. I mean, it does the genre it does well, instead of bouncing back and forth between and kind of keeping you guessing from episode to episode. Yeah. What really lost me, bro, and I'm going to be honest, is once you bring in multiverse and time travel, the stakes go out the window. Like when somebody dies on The Boys, you feel it because you know they're gone. You and I both know, Reggie, that George is coming back at the end. We've already seen time travel. They're undoing stuff that happened. The things that gave us the biggest emotional response can be undone at any time. And even if they're not, even in this reality, if everything goes wrong, there's still another version of reality where everything went right. So who really gives a shit, right? Like, in this infinite universe of infinite possibilities, writers can do anything they want to, and I don't think that's necessarily as clever as it is a get-out-of-jail-free card for screenwriters that don't know where to go once they've taken you from one side of the cosmos to the other and been everything from a science fiction to a horror movie. Yeah, that's what I got. The Boys for president.
Oh, wow. With 5 seconds to spare.
Good job.
Fourth final round from both contestants. I have to say, before we get into deliberations, this was an amazing match. I was literally about to fall out of my seat. Oh really my God. Reggie, the first time on the show, killing it.
I wasn't ready.
Regular, but I mean, I'm not gonna
I
lie.
wasn't ready.
Really good points that you killed. Now we're gonna get into deliberations. Now, the first round. I feel, just to address what Jeremy was saying, Jeremy basically set it up to tell us why The Boys is basically a good show and why he introduced that show, where we get our prime characters, why they're doing what they're doing, and why it's I guess you would, like I said before, like, you know, they're superheroes / anti-heroes, but they're assholes, but they address a lot of things that happen in everyday life. Like, and so for me, I really felt his points as he was addressing The Boys. Now with Lovecraft Country, I'm not gonna lie, Reggie came out the gate with some heat with that. I was like, what the hell? Because I'm not gonna lie, and anyone who's ever watched anything that I've put out, I have been critical of Lovecraft Country. But the way he described it in the first round, I didn't even think about. So I was just like, wow. Like he came with the heat, with that, taking like passive aggressive jabs. So that first round I would have to give to Reggie. That was just out the gate crazy. Now for the second round, they both told me why, which show was better. Reggie kind of with Lovecraft Country, Reggie kind of touched on a lot of things that he said from the first round, but also in that second round, he also stated why Lovecraft Country is an important show to the culture. And in a lot of ways, I understood what he was saying, because I get why the certain characters are doing what they're doing in that show. Also, he brought up it's more of a historical lesson. It keeps you intrigued every time you watch the show. When I look at what Jeremy said with The Boys is something. Oh, by the way, let me go back real quick. Reggie did say if you watch The Boys, it's essentially a show that's dumb fun. Like there's essentially, you can make the argument, which he was, that The Boys has no substance. But Jeremy countered that and said that out the gate, The Boys address a lot of substance issues. Me Too, racism, Nazis, stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff that, even though it's a superhero show, they address a lot. And Jeremy, I feel, even though I will say Reggie was coming with some heat in the second round, Jeremy, I feel, did a better job articulating why The Boys is the way it is. Because if you're watching The Boys, you're not watching it to learn anything. To be honest with you, you're really not. And when I'm watching Lovecraft Country, it's somewhat of a history lesson. So for the second round, I have to give that to Jeremy. Jeremy did a really good job articulating that. Now the battle round, my favorite round. Listen, I can go back and forth with how they articulate it, but Reggie won that round. I'm sorry, Reggie won that round. I was just like, what's that Nas and Nick Cannon reference? Yeah. Oh my God. I was like, wow. Like that blew me away. Now for the conclusion round. Now, I will say this before I give any statements about the contestants. I will say they both touched on what the show meant to them and why it's great. I can make the argument that The Boys is a lot like Umbrella Academy, Doom Patrol, but I can also make the argument that Lovecraft Country is like the sister show of Watchmen. So, in a sense, although, you know, they made the points of why it's important, I can also argue the fact that they're carbon copies of other shows that have already happened. Lovecraft Country happens in Tulsa. Where does Watchmen happen in? Tulsa. Yeah. So I can make the argument that they're carbon copies, but I have to say for closing statements, and I normally don't do this for closing statements, I have to give that a tie. Like I'm looking at.
Okay.
I'm looking.
I get you don't want to hurt his feelings. It's fine. I'll accept it.
I repeated all the same beats from round one.
I will say though, Jeremy, he made the point of which Lovecraft Country does need to do a better job of. The multiverse in that is really kind of hard to understand. When you're saying that he can die, but you know he's coming back, there's time travel involved.
That shit was fire, dude.
Yeah, like
Man.
are we watching the MCU?
The multiverse is not meant to be understood, and that's the point. There are wonders that we will never understand.
That's true, but the Flash does a really good job explaining the multiverse. And it's under the same company, unfortunately. So now I have to give who's the winner of this show. Now, like I said, out the gate, both contestants did a really good job debating their shows. I've seen both shows, and I'm not putting my own bias on each show because I view them really the same. But I have to say, as someone who heard all arguments, and I feel that we're talking like why the show was better, I have to give it to Lovecraft Country, man. Like that show, I mean, Reggie did a good job. That third and first round, oh my God. Let's roll the tape. Let's roll the tape. Because I'm like, oh my God, this dude is coming out the gate with some craziness, man. Oh my God. And like I stated before, Reggie's our winner. With that first and third round, he came out the gate swinging. It's funny. I just met Reggie a couple weeks ago, telling him about the show and all the different things that we did. And him being on the show today is like he's been on the show before. Like, we hold nothing back. Ian and Jeremy are great contestants, and Reggie is our new winner for this week. I will definitely set up the new match for him in the near future. But next week's match, we have another newcomer coming to Real Debates. I won't discuss what the topics are, but definitely check that out for next week. Ian will be moderating that one, but I can't wait to see that. And I want to thank you guys both for being on the show. So Reggie from the Silver Site, where can we find you on YouTube and social media?
You can follow me on social media. We have an Instagram at The Silver Site, Twitter, I am Silver Site. Our Facebook page is The Silver Site. And of course, you can always follow us, subscribe to our channel on youtube.com/The Silver Site.
Awesome. Definitely check out his channel. He does a lot of live shows, especially with the boys. Great panelists as well. So, and I might reach out to some of his panelists to get them on the show as well. But Jeremy, our other contestant, such a major supporter to Momentum Media. But where can we find you on YouTube and social media?
Dude, first of all, Reggie, you did a fantastic job, man.
Thank
I
you.
wasn't ready. I prepped. I'm not gonna lie. I took some notes and stuff. I wasn't ready. I did not know you were going to come with the heat like that, and I really appreciate it. I'm pretty sure that I agree 100% with Alex's ruling. I don't appreciate it, and I think Ian's probably a much better judge and moderator, but I'll take the L today. Thank you for having me, Alex. Check me out on Movies Are Terrible on YouTube.
You were a formidable opponent.
Thanks, bro.
I was telling Alex, I said, I'm studying my opponent. Like, I told Alex I was going to come heavy with it.
Good.
So, but definitely for someone who says that they weren't, prepared, not prepared, but you definitely, I was sweating for a minute there. I was like, oh God, that last round when you were kind of pointing out some things that I had overlooked. I'm bald, so I started sweating low key. So you almost had me.
Yeah, I mean, what an amazing match, you guys.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to have my contestants on here, and you guys know where to find us here at Momentum Media. We do Real Debates every single Friday. Season 1 has been amazing. This is 4 episodes in, and you guys keep coming back and watching it, so I do appreciate the love and support. Like I stated before, there will be a new match next week with a new contestant. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching. And guys, if you want to support this show, if you want to be a part of this show, all you have to do is just watch, like, comment, and subscribe. I will definitely be reaching out to other people who want to be a part of this show. Let's make it a huge community. Like, I may do an after show. I don't know yet, but I just know that we're just grabbing a lot of YouTubers and doing something that we love to do. It doesn't necessarily have to be superhero versus superhero. It can be anything versus anything. And that's what this show is about, having fun and being creative. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. And as always, you have a blessed day.